Hey, so the question is, what choices do we make? And I want to bring to your curiosity the message that's come through for me tonight to share with you is bring to your curiosity or your awareness about the choices. In other words, what choices do we actually make? So my name is Stephen Bones and I practice shamanism. I work with spirit using tools such as the drums on the wall behind me, and they also I do journeying and they guide me as well into other types of information. So you'll really help me and support me by hitting subscribe and then hit the bell. So, and I appreciate you doing that as well. So what's so curious about the choices we make? Well, what I want to sort of point to is that we make choices every day. And just think about this for a minute. The simple ones, the food we eat, the drinks we take, what time we need to be somewhere, the route we choose to get there. Do we choose to walk, cycle, or take public transport? So I think you sort of get in the picture of what I'm sort of saying about choices. But the thing is, can you just get a bit curious with me? I want to invite you to get curious about a lot of these choices we do without really thinking about them. They're sort of semi-automatic. Most of our choices become habitual. So all you car drivers, and I know because I've done the same quite a few times, is that we're driving along and we suddenly realise that we lost focus and we can't remember the last few miles or how we got from turning off the main road to perhaps our home, which is a few miles away. And because we've made these choices so often, we just keep making the same ones. And we call it a habit in the human world, I suppose. And what I want to bring to your attention, there's a message here, by the way, so bear with me. What I want to bring to your attention, because we can really get curious and look deeper at the choices we make. Let's dive deeper into it. So I want to just come to TV, for instance, because that's another one that many of us do. And it's a bit like eating. We just watch and listen without realising really the vibration and frequency that TV feeds us. And it is feeding us like food and water. And let me give you an example. News is really the obvious one. And I'm not knocking any of this, by the way. I just want to get you curious and get aware of things and just give it some thought. Maybe meditate on it if you want. But I think the news now is so obvious with its messaging. Many people are realising that it's all around a fear-based reality. Very rarely do you hear anything good in the news. Somebody's maybe done a good deed for somebody up the road. It's never good, positive news. It's always bad news. And then what they do is sensationalise it because they sensationalise it, by the way, they install fear in us, and this keeps looping. And you can notice how the same story repeats every hour and the same stuff feeding us like negative energy, negative vibration. And again, I'm not knocking this, I'm just trying to point out what this stuff does. And the reason they do it is because they want to put bums on seats. News becomes like an entertainment where people look forward to watching it if they've got caught in that loop of what it's all about. And what I've learned myself, because I used to be exactly the same, I used to listen to a lot of news. And as I've gone on my journey and experienced negative energy as well as positive, what I've realised is there's a balance. And sometimes we're shown negative energy to allow us to make a choice to choose the positive. So for instance, what I want to point to is there was a peaceful march in London recently, and I'm not making it right or wrong, that march. I'm not on any sides or taking any views of it. I'm just pointing out that it was a march, and it was reported to be by many as a peaceful march. And many people chose to go on it. They made the choice. And I understand many thousands of people were protesting against the government and the choices the government were making that didn't suit many people. And again, I'm not getting involved with it, I'm just pointing to the story. And interestingly, it was reported that some, I don't know whether it was 39, 49 or whatever, somewhere around that figure, people were arrested. And the whole march was labelled that these were racist people causing trouble because 49 people got arrested. Now, I have no opinion one way or the other. I'm just choosing this subject for entertainment purposes, of course, just to make a point that because media or the TV feed us as entertainment, they can then get many people making a judgment, making an opinion, a view, a perception of what was going on. And this is my point. There were many thousands on that march, and 49 arrests out of thousands to me didn't seem a lot. So what that did is I looked at the other side of it that showed me that 90 odd percent, whatever the figure was, it could be far higher than that, were law-abiding people choosing not to cause any trouble, and there were just ordinary people on a march because they didn't get arrested. So 49 out of thousands to me seems a small percentage. So I've thought, okay, so I felt into there was a lot of people that were actually sharing their views, but very peacefully by marching along. And whether I agree with these people's views or not is not the point. What it is, it was sensationalized and just trying to get people to automatically perceive that all the marchers were causing trouble. And that's the entertainment, folks. That's what I'm trying to point to. And whatever the point of this is, sorry, let me start again. However, whatever the point of this is, there is always another energy. There's always shadows, there's always light. And when we're shown the shadows, there's light we can view. And I think you sort of get the point of the story that I've just told, that there was light about the whole thousands and thousands of people that were just peacefully protesting and maybe meeting up and making friends with people at the same time. Maybe there was a loving energy there, I don't know, but it's an interesting perspective. So from a spiritual point of view, which is where I am, very much in shamanic energy, working with spirit, listening, aware of everything that I'm learning as I'm going along, and I really am still learning. But what I do teach is that if we loop in these shadows constantly, watch the news or engage with TV programs and films that put out a frequency of a shadow. And what I mean by that is a lot of films about like the world's going to end, or true crime stories about serial killers, or people killing each other just haphazardly, and they're calling that entertainment. Well, I just want to get your mind going. And again, I'm not making it right or making it wrong, because to me there's again two sides, because I can choose not to watch that, and I can choose to watch a documentary about animals if I wish. But what I'm pointing to is this stuff can feed our mind and our soul, and with all these shadows. So all these shadows that we're feeding our mind with, like these TV programs, I can only give you a question. Guess what? If you choose that, your reality, there's an old saying, our reality becomes a product of our environment. Meaning that if we keep feeding ourselves with this stuff, we're going to show more shadows. More of our own shadows are going to show up. We're going to be in shadows rather than in light, because that becomes habitual. We don't see the light. So there's the message. We don't see the light because we're in the shadow all the time. So my friends, whatever you do, choose carefully. And this is the message I've come to share with you all. And I just want to leave you with love and light, and see you next time.